Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of the Happy Knitting Podcast. My name is Julia and I'm coming to you from the UK. And today is Monday, the 2nd of December 2024. I'm coming to you on a Monday because for some, to me, inexplicable reason, we keep having inset days at school, which means my son has been off both today and last Friday. So we've taken the day off and took a little trip. It was smaller than expected because all our rail works and all of that, all the trains weren't really running the way they should. But anyways, it means that we are home early and I have some time to record a podcast. If you can't tell, I've had another cold. It's just the endless season of colds at the moment, but hopefully today my voice is okay enough for me to record, but sorry if you can still hear it somewhat. I thought I would do a quick episode to catch you up on what I've been knitting on because I have been finishing a few things. So, should we start with some finished objects? First up, you may remember I was working on my striped Musselburgh hat, which is, of course, a pattern by Isolde Teague. I'll put it on first and then I'll show you the whole thing, but essentially it is a double knit hat. I knit the adult medium on 3mm needles with some sock yarn, and I like to wear my Musselburgh hats not folded up. So I like them like this, like they're just perfectly comfortable. When using sock yarn, this is my second one in sock yarn, it just gives for a nice, light, stretchy, comfortable hat. Like it doesn't ruin my hair massively. I really like it. So I wear mine like this. You could fold it up, but then it does become quite short, which isn't really my style. So to show you the whole thing, you knit a long tube and then you fold it inside out. Or you fold one end into the other one. And I made 10 row straps using some mini skeins. Some of them were from Loom Wool here in the UK. I got a lot of browns from them and I didn't really know what to do with them, so I paired them with some pinks and creams from Black Elephant yarns that I got on a sale ages ago, and I have a Musselburgh hat. So I finished this one for me and I blocked it and actually wore it out today, and like I expected, this is just like my red one. I think it's just going to be a staple. I just find these so easy to style. And I love hats. I love really light hats that I can just wear all the time. And yeah, this one really works for me. You can see here is where I changed the yarns. So I did like a weave and steven thing. But it's not too obvious. And yeah, there we go. Musselburgh hat number 1 is finished. And then you might remember I was chatting last week about knitting a Musselburgh hat for my husband who needed a really warm hat. And I was initially going to hold the yarn double, and I tried that. I cast it on, but it was just too thick. So I ended up making him this hat, which is also finished. And this is, again, the Musselburgh hat. And for this one, I used Pickles Pure Wool, which is a Norwegian wool from a Norwegian yarn brand. I bought this yarn in Oslo in 2019, so I'm really, really glad I'm using it up. And for this one, I think theoretically it's like a fingering to sport weight, but it is much thicker and it's a non-superwash, so it has a completely different feel. And this one went much quicker as well. So as you can tell, for this one, it is rolled up because I made this one much longer. I love the Musselburgh pattern and that you can wear it both ways, but I feel like if you do the regular length, for me personally, it becomes too short to roll up. And this one, as you can tell, this has a really, really nice length, even rolled up. So I really like this one. In fact, I am kind of jealous of my husband for this hat because this one is going to be really nice and warm. Because again, it's a tube. So it's already held double. And then when you roll it up, it's essentially held, it's like a quadruple layer of fabric. So it becomes really, really nice and warm. So for this one, I actually made it longer than the extra large. I've knit a few of these hats now, and I just think that if you want to roll them up, you need to add more length than the pattern gives you, unless you want like an over-the-ear sort of, I don't know, that kind of look, which isn't me. So from all the hats that I've knit using the Musselburgh pattern, what I've decided for myself is that if I want to make a hat to hold, to basically have like a beanie like this, I will make it to about 46 to 47 centimeters before I start the decreases. Whereas for this one, I think the extra large tells you to knit 57 centimeters to the decreases, and I did 60 centimeters. So I think that is what I'm always going to do going forward, depending on who I'm gifting these to. 60 centimeters for a sort of rolled brim and 45-ish for a single layer brim, whatever you want to call it. And obviously the pattern gives you tons of options, so you can knit it with basically any weight of yarn. There are tons of different sizes. I just like to play with these, and I think I've found a method that really works for us. So my son has now requested a stripy one. And funnily enough, I just made this for Kai. He has like a whole box of blue and grey and black hats. Like they're all really, really sort of sensible hats. And then he saw this one, and now he wants a stripy one too. So yeah, I think I'm just going to keep making these hats because I really enjoy them as well. This is like sock knitting for me. It's just really, really mindless. And by this point, I have memorized basically the whole pattern, even like the increases bit. So it becomes very intuitive to knit. I will say that for all of these, I don't do the cast on as described in the pattern because it's a bit fiddly. Instead, I just cast on the number of stitches that you're supposed to cast on, and then once I've knit a little bit of the hat, I'll just graft, or I'll just like sew the top closed, and it works just fine. So yeah, 2 Musselburgh hats are done, and I'm quite excited by them. And then the finishing didn't stop. I also finished my husband's Christmas socks. So my husband was away for like a long day, night, Christmas thing the other day, and I just took the advantage of him being out of the house because he always tends to catch me knitting. But because he wasn't there, I got to finish his Christmas socks. And these are socks using a Schoppel Crazy Zauberball, which is a German sock yarn. And it's got this really sort of fun, mild, self-patterning effect. Obviously the socks really don't match, but I think they're really, really pretty. Zauberball isn't my favorite yarn to knit with, just in terms of, I don't know, something about the yarn. I find it a bit cumbersome to knit. But the socks are really, really pretty, aren't they? So these are going to be Kai's Christmas socks. I used 68 stitches on a 2.25 millimeter needle. And the colorway is Abendstunde. I don't know the color number, but I do have these on my Ravelry, so I think you should be able to find them anyways. So yeah, those are another pair of socks done. And yeah, it felt good to get some stuff off the needles. Next up, the elephant in the room. What am I wearing? I am wearing my unfinished Rebel cardigan, but I was trying it on for size anyway, so I thought I might as well show it to you on. And this is the Rebel cardigan by Anke Strick that I've been knitting on for ages and ages because I've sort of lost my garment knitting mojo. But I have forced myself to work on the body, and let's see if I can show this to you without making it super awkward. But yeah, it is still on the needles. This is where I was last time I showed it to you, I think. And yeah, I think I'm about ready to bind off the bottom. So I haven't bound it off yet. I'm not sure if I want to add maybe another, I don't know, inch. But I actually like the length of it, and for me this was a bit of like having to push myself to work on it. I would prefer a sleek cardigan any day. The purling back and front just makes me like a bit mad, but I got through it. So I've done the rib. Essentially I just need to bind it off, and then I can work on the sleeves. I haven't decided yet if I'm making long sleeves or 3/4 length sleeves. But I do think this is going to be like a lovely office cardigan, so I should probably make long sleeves. And just to sort of show you, hang on, it needs a block, of course. But can you see how lovely the fit is over the shoulders? I've mentioned many times the construction of this has been really, really interesting. And yeah, I think it's going to be nice. It is an open front cardigan. I'm going to block it and see if I like it, or if I want to do some afterthought buttonholes, or maybe even just one to close it up. I haven't decided yet, but I definitely have been working on this because I know that once I finish this, this is going to be really, really good to have. So for me, this is a bit of a project knit right now. I just want to have the finished garment. And amazingly, I'm still on my second ball of yarn. This is the Studio Donegal, what's it called? Darnie. It's a really, really lovely yarn. I really like it. I think technically this is a fingering weight, although I would argue, I think it's a woolen spun and it just feels heavier to me. But this is what I got gauge with, and I don't know how I'm still on my second ball unless I have forgotten that I caked another ball of yarn, but I think I have another whole skein in stash, and I'm pretty sure I only had 3 skeins. So yeah, I don't know how that is possible, but I really like this cardigan. I'm not sure if you can tell, the front is all 1x1 rib, and it's just really, really nice. So yeah, Rebel cardigan in progress. And then I did cast on some new things, of course. So I started some socks, and apologies, it is already getting dark. It is 3 o'clock and it is getting dark, which is crazy. But I needed some bright pink socks, so I cast these on. And this is a mystery yarn that I got in a D-stash for, I think I got 100 grams for about £8, which is amazing. And it said possibly Spectrum fiber yarns. She wasn't sure. And it came already balled up into 2 balls of yarn. And it's blowing out a little bit. It's a really fun, relatively bright colorway that my camera doesn't like very much. And I would agree, I just recently got my first mini skein from Spectrum Yarns, and I noticed that the blend, I think it's a merino high twist, but somehow it feels a bit softer than other ones that I've seen. And this feels the same. So I tend to agree that this is most likely Spectrum fiber. So this is one of the balls. I have 2 50-gram balls. And yeah, I've just made a vanilla sock. I did 20 rows of 2x2 rib and plain stockinette for the leg. And I do think I want to make these a little bit longer. But yeah, I'm probably going to take these into London tomorrow when I go into work and try to work on these. Because last week when I commuted, I forgot my knitting at home and I was so mad the whole day. Because the best part of my office commute is on the way back, I will usually get a seat on the train and I can knit. And I didn't have that last week, and I also had a really bad day at the office, so it wasn't great. So I'm taking this tomorrow to knit on the train. So there's that. And then lastly, it is the 2nd of December, and I did treat myself to a yarn advent calendar this year. I don't usually, because I tend to be quite pricey, and sometimes I really want to have a plan rather than just collect mini skeins. But I did get one this year from Indie Yarn Club, because I really like their yarns. I am in their mini club as well. It's relatively, affordable is very relative, but it wasn't as expensive as other indie dyed advent calendars that I have seen. And yeah, so I've opened the first 2 mini skeins. So if you do not want to be spoiled, do look away. But I have opened day 1, which is this lovely color, and this is day 2. And essentially I bought the advent, and then I think later on she sent a photo of the color scheme, and it was just me in a nutshell. Like, I think it's like the photo, the inspiration photo was purples, pinks, corals, and yellow. Like, that is my colors to a T. So I'm really, really excited, and I think this is going to be really fun. And I have started the vignette wrap by Helen Stewart. So Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade, she has a lot of really fun advent patterns, and this one, it came in a collection, which I only really wanted the wrap pattern, but I did buy the collection because it's just so pretty. And the vignette wrap, it basically is either a wrap or you can make it into a blanket, like a throw sort of thing. So it's like a 2-in-1 pattern, which I thought was quite nice, and I could see myself making the blanket actually. I think it would be really nice and like a color changing yarn that does the work for you. And so this is day 1. Essentially the pattern, the wrap is really, really long. I think it's well over 2 meters. So I am conscious that I don't want mine to be that long. And hers is also really wide. So the idea for hers is that she uses every last bit of each mini skein and you magic knot them together. And what I think I'll do is use less of the mini skein. I have no intention of using 20 grams each day because that would just make for a really heavy wrap as well. So what I've done is I have used about, I think, 12 grams of my first mini skein and then cut the yarn. So I'm going to do something else with the rest. And yes, I am considering making Musselburgh hats with the leftovers because I think that would be really fun. I haven't done that yet, but it might very well happen. And obviously it's a fade, so this is day 1, and then this is going to be day 2. And yeah, I think this combination of garter stitch and hang on, am I showing you the back? I'm not sure. Yeah, I think this is the front. And what do you call this? I've forgotten what you call it. But I think it's very, very pretty. Everything is blowing out because it is getting dark, but here we are. So yeah, I am one day is done, and I'm definitely working on this as soon as I finish recording tonight. So that is another new cast on, and I am using way smaller needles as well. So I'm using 3.25 millimeter needles, whereas I think she uses 4 millimeter needles. My thinking is A, I am a loose knitter, and B, I like garter stitch to be sort of on the tighter side. And because this is huge, I thought going down in terms of needle sizes will make it a bit smaller as well. The only thing is now, because I was just going to calculate the length in terms of, like, do a calculation and figure out how many grams I would use every day to get a wrap that is maybe, I don't know, 1 meter 80 or 2 meters tops. But because my gauge is completely different now, I can't really do that anymore. I mean, I guess I could, but it gets more complicated. But yeah, I'm just winging it. I'm sure it'll be pretty. And because the advent is a fade anyways, if at some point I decide to make slightly shorter sections of color or slightly longer sections, I don't think it will be that noticeable anyways. So yeah, that is my advent knit for this year, which leads us into advent embroidery. In terms of embroidery, I wasn't going to do anything, but then on the very, very last second, I think as part of their Black Week specials, I did end up ordering the Advent embroidery kit from Oh So Beautiful, which is a UK-based sort of embroidery kit company, which I've mentioned in the last couple of episodes. So I think I only ordered that on Wednesday, and the Sunday was already the 1st of December. So it hasn't arrived yet, but I'm quite excited, and I thought if I've ordered a new kit, I should finish my old one. So I have finished this yesterday. I've even finished it properly, which I'm really proud of. So this is my winter embroidery kit, also by Oh So Beautiful. And isn't it just so cute? I really love this. This was quite intricate. There were a million French knots. But it was really, really fun to work on. And the Advent one is like quite similar. It's just more Christmassy. And obviously it has 24 little motifs. So I'm going to be catching up, and then once I'm caught up, I'm going to be doing 1 motif per day. And I just think it'll be really, really cute. And I love seeing all these little embroidery hoops now just popping up all over my house. So yeah, my embroidery is still going strong and I'm really enjoying it. All right, that is it in terms of my knitting and crafting. I haven't really worked on much else. I've done a little bit on my colorwork sweater, but not enough to really show it. And I think for now, my goal is to work on my Advent wrap and also definitely get onto the sleeves of this because that'll be really fun knitting anyways. Sleeves are like sock knitting. I do quite enjoy them sometimes because they go quite quickly. And yeah, that should be my crafting for today. In terms of life updates, it's just been really busy, and it's just a never-ending story of life being busy, probably for everyone at the moment. Like I said, we were out today. I don't understand why we have all these inset days, just like random days where there is no childcare. But we wanted to go up to Cambridge today. We were going to go away over the weekend, essentially, but then there were railworks and things, and plans got cancelled, and then we were going to go to Cambridge today because I thought it would be quieter than the madness that is the weekends. But then something happened with the trains and we couldn't really go anywhere far, so we ended up going to a small town near to us, had a bit of like brunch and like a little lights trail, and did some shopping. I didn't buy any yarn at John Lewis, so I'm quite proud of that. And like I said, now we're home early, so hopefully we're going to do some crafting. My son is finally getting into crafting, which is nice. We did a load of baking yesterday, like just all the Christmassy activities. Definitely going to have a fire tonight, and I think we promised to make some chestnuts and roast some marshmallows, that kind of stuff, which I really, really like. So yeah, that's what's going on. In other exciting news, like I said, my husband was away last Friday, and of course, Friday night when he's in London and I'm by myself with my son, that is the moment our heating decides to break and go really, really funny. So that was fun. It's not broken. It still works. It's just making very clunky noises. So I spend doing bedtime and also being on the phone with our lovely gas engineer. But he's coming out on Wednesday, and I think basically as soon as Kai came home, it sort of fixed itself a little bit as well, because that's how things work, right? So yeah, it's not really getting boring anytime soon, but yeah, everything is sort of moving along, and only 3 more weeks until we go to Germany, which is crazy. So yeah, do let me know what you are working on. Do you have a yarny or non-yarny advent calendar? I very much love just a chocolate one. I love chocolate. I may have gotten some chocolate today. What are you knitting on? Do you have any sort of advent knitting projects, whether they're calendar related or not? I think there's a lot of really fun Christmas crafting that you can do. There's just never enough time to do all the things, which is such a shame. Like, I keep seeing more Christmassy and wintry embroidery things and stitching things and crafting kits, and a lot of them now I'm like, by the time I finish them, Christmas will be over, which is really sad. So yeah, let me know what you're doing in crafting and maybe baking and all of the stuff. And if you're not into all of that, then I also get that. I think I can get a bit grinchy sometimes, but having a kid definitely has got me a bit more into the nice Christmassy holiday spirits. Yeah, that is it for today from me, but thank you so much for watching. I hope this episode hasn't been too disjointed. I always get confused by recording in a different place and sort of on a whim, and then I also have a cold, and yeah, not sure, but we've got through it. We've recorded something, which is okay. So I hope wherever you are in the world that you are safe and healthy and enjoying your knitting and crafting and spinning and crocheting, any sort of crafts that you get to do. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care. Happy knitting. Bye.